22 wildest things found in the garbage, according to Reddit. Number 22. I'm not a garbage man, but I used to do security at a wealthy apartment complex. Started to go through the trash after I found an oven that worked. Ladies would throw away $100, $200 brand new purses, Gucci, Prada, Armani glasses that just because they had tiny scratches in them. Interesting. This one art teacher would throw away art supplies. This one guy threw away all of his bongs and pipes and grinders. I found a pocket pussy and a giant bottle of lube. Food that was months away from its expiration date, brand new clothes with the tags still attached. I was literally finding free money. Lucky. Somebody said, is reusing old people's old sex toys a form of voyeurism? Oh, Jesus Christ. Number 21. I chucked a TV/VCR combo unit out one time. About 11 p.m., the doorbell goes, and I'm greeted by a man asking about the remote control for it. Cheeky bastard. You got the remote, mate? I carried a 40-inch flat screen TV to my friend's apartment. I carried it because it was literally across the parking lot, and I'm not loading it into the car for that. It was an LCD, so not heavy. There just happened to be a dumpster between my place and her place and a group of people, and here I use the term loosely. They saw me carrying this TV in the general vicinity of said dumpster and proceeded to loose, god damn it, their minds. You know, 1 O for lose, guys, 2 O's for loose. You loosen the knot on the noose that you're tying for yourself if you want to live, bro. We all lose when you don't hang yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Don't look like there's anything wrong with that, buddy, sure. Give her ear, me ducky. People do not talk like that in places in the world. That's just scary, guys. Let's continue. Number 20. Seasonal janitor here. Not really a garbage man per se, but I empty a lot of garbages. He empties a lot of garbages. I found weed and alcohol, which I kept, meth pipes, needles, which I did not. Let's see, I found a Razor scooter last year that was pretty sweet. An iPod Nano, a car stereo face, cash, $20, less than $20. Once found a wallet at one of the parks with about $5,000 cash in hundreds. Wow. Saw the guy in the park and returned it though. No reward. What a dick. Pocket knives, abandoned kittens, lots of lighters. And the list goes on. Well, he just lost $5,000. Damn. Listen, man. We continue on the list of 22 wildest things found in the garbage. Bing bong. Sometimes even I need a reminder. For clarification, the question being asked is, garbage men of Reddit, what's the most illegal, strange, or valuable thing that you have seen while gathering people's trash? And that's why everybody keeps going, well, I'm not a garbage man. But number 19, 2 Egyptian papyrus paintings framed. That's classy. 3 mountain bikes. One had a loose rear axle, tightened the nut, had it fixed in seconds. The other had flat tires. You gotta love some people, man. They live in that life. Wait a minute. This thing doesn't work? Psh, trash. 12 working VCRs. This was in 2002. I still have 8 of them. Lots of VHS porn. That good stuff, baby. An entire box of new in-wrapper embossed steel Rolling Rock beer signs. Sold them on eBay for over $300. This guy knows what's up. I think the most useful thing I found was a 15-foot logging chain. I must have weighed about 40 pounds. It must have weighed about 40 pounds. I use it on my tractor. Somebody said, I was wondering why you kept 8 VCRs all this time. And then I read the next line. Lots of VHS porn. Come on now. Number 18. Today I learned I should become a garbage man, find cool shit, and sell some of it. Cool. Somebody said, I think everyone's thinking that. How awesome would it be to be getting paid and bringing in all this stuff for more money? Brilliant. Man, you guys got it all wrong. Number 17. My uncle was a garbage man, and he did this great thing and would break into people's houses while on his routes. It's not funny, but just the madness of it, dude. My uncle was a garbage man, and he did this great thing and would break into people's houses while on his routes. He eventually got caught and was named the Garbage Man Burglar. What? This is the type of thing where I have to wonder if it's like a reference to something, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and throw that at Google. Elderly woman helps catch garbage man accused in string of burglaries. Jesus Christ. What the bing bong. Don't play no videos. I don't want none of that bull crap. You know what I mean? I'm already getting like 6 cents for this video. A garbage man who police said scoped out victims while on a job is suspected in... Oh my God, you're playing it anyway. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus. Anyway, a 97-year-old woman got him. God bless her, you know. She 3 years away from 100 years old, and a lot of people would consider her obsolete, you know. Some people half that age are obsolete. And here we got this 100-year-old lady going, now wait a minute, now wait just a minute. I'm in my window and I see this man and I'm like, you know, that don't look the way it's supposed to. This is a video game for her. And a garbage man, he wasn't doing things right. Something's not adding up. Number 16 has been deleted. Can we figure it out based on context clues? The response reads, maybe it was a murder weapon. Somebody said whatever they found might have been a murder weapon. So what do we guys want to imagine? What do we want to imagine here? Maybe it was some kind of sexual item, but they found it covered in blood. Oh, it was some kind of, maybe it was a sound system that was in the trash. Another response reads, the victim was dropped. Ew, ow, dub wub motherfucker. What? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was a sound system, but it was covered in blood, maybe. Because now people are making, you know, Key and Peele references in the comment section for this specific post. And for those who may not be aware, Key and Peele did a sketch where they were listening to dubstep while helping each other move, apparently. And they both just started getting nosebleeds. It was pretty interesting stuff. So, number 15 on the list of 22 wildest things found in the trash. Not a garbage man, but I do know that garbage men regularly solve crimes. Wow. CSI investigator over here, you know what I'm talking about. That's a tautology, Kyle. You can't say CSI investigator because you're saying crime scene investigator, Kyle. Well, I'm not a garbage man, but I do know that garbage men regularly solve crimes. A couple of weeks back, a restaurant that I used to work at was robbed of a large amount of cash. 3 young gentlemen went in just before closing and hid in the bathroom, came out after the doors were locked, and it was just the manager, bartender, and owner, 3 middle-aged women. They took the bartender and manager downstairs to the office where the owner was with the open safe, put them all on the floor, robbed the safe, and bounced. The safe was cash, rolled coin, and a gun safe with a pistol. They took everything. Unable to open the gun safe, they took a cutting wheel and torch to it, got it open, discarded the gun safe. Genius put it in the trash barrel, wheels it out to the curb. Trash man finds it the next day. The resident is arrested, gives up the other two suspects. What a squad of geniuses. They would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for that meddling garbage man. And ignorance, of course. Come on, guys. Disposal's like the biggest part of any crime. You people are so stupid. But thank God for that stupidity. Heart of ignorance. Number 14. When former football player Ricky Williams briefly retired to become a spiritual guru in the hills, he moved into a place that was on a recycling route of mine. Sounds like something out of a fucking fairy tale. Now that I'm done playing football, it's time for me to retire and become a spiritual guru. The football is not without. The football is within, ladies and gentlemen. I noticed a box he tossed once and grabbed it to see if there was any memorabilia or football items related in it. It looked important. What was in it was team doctor's papers, contracts, and just about all of the personal information that one would need to actually become Ricky Williams. Seems you've thrown out just like, identity theft in a box here. It's my theft in a box. I felt weird that this was out there, so I took it home and burned every piece of it in the fireplace. Felt guilty even looking at it as I tossed it. What kind of good guy are you? Wow. Not saying that I wouldn't, discard of it as well. But I don't know. I'm the type of guy that would bring it to his attention, and say, guy, you got to be more careful, I'm not saying that you should give me some money for what I'm doing right now, but holy crap, if this could have gotten into the wrong hands, freezing it just delicately enough to not seem like blackmail, maybe you give me some money. I'm kidding. It wouldn't be like that. I'm just saying, you got to make people aware of how fucking stupid they are, or they'll never learn. It's one thing if you're trying to bring them to terms with, thinking, and they demonstrate time and time again that they're not about that life. They're not about thinking things rationally through or being logical or even looking up like a simple solution to what would otherwise be a problem. But to people who generally are just ignorant and don't know any better, and if you were to stop them and go, hey, you can't do stuff like this because if this information gets into the wrong hands, then hey, they can use it against you, then they'd probably go, oh, I'll definitely try to make it so that that won't happen in the future. You should take the opportunity to do so, because it wouldn't really matter if this guy took this shit home and burned it, if this retired football player Ricky Williams was stupid enough to be doing this kind of shit on a regular as far as his life is concerned, because then somebody else who's not as good a guy will inevitably get that information, use it to fuck this guy, or just get some money. You know what I mean? That's what they do, is get that money. Number 13, 22 wildest pickles in my crawdaddies. I didn't work as a garbage man, but my job was pretty close to it. In Germany, we had buckets in the rain gutters. These rain gutters lined the streets, and there is one every 25 to 50 meters. They are there to collect any rubbish or leaves and commonly used ashtrays, and help to keep the sewage systems from getting clogged. It's a nasty job. I once found a big black dildo that was around 10 inches long and a good 2.5 inches wide. That's that girth. I got that girth. We promptly decided to play tag with it and eventually fastened it to the front of the truck. Good Lord. I didn't know that such camaraderie existed among garbage men. It's as if you haven't allowed your adult lives to interfere with fun. Another time our truck broke down and we were able to make it to a clearing in the woods. This is how movies start. Next to the highway. We got bored waiting for the tow truck, and my colleague found a big rubber pussy with black hair and the packaging nearby. A rubber pussy? What kind of gag gift? This was much bigger than a pocket pussy. It went up to where the belly button would be. It looked like it had the abdomen and hips molded with it and was clearly used. Yeah, we find some crazy shit, and I got lucky and found a €50 bill in there. Finding money was kind of common. Relevant link, but in German. Intriguing. 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 Any comments to that? A car ramrod. That's for the dildo on the front of the vehicle. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope somebody's like, car ramrod. Oh God, that's so crazy. Number 12. Not a garbage man, but I live in Switzerland. We have this thing called Papiersammlung, where kids and teens collect bundles of paper for recycling. It looks like this. That's very good. Very good. Very good indeed. We would go around town with the cart and collect the bundles of paper that people put outside their homes for this purpose. My job was to load these bundles of paper into the train wagon, so I would check out what kind of stuff people would be throwing away. The tons and tons of porn we found was amazing, since we were all around 13 years old and the internet wasn't that widespread back there. It was like finding gold. Gold. I remember stuffing my pants with these old and crusty porn magazines so that I could take them home. It was something that we all looked forward to each year. Crusty indeed, yeah, I'm talking about. Number 11. A friend whose dad was a garbage man once told me he found an engagement ring and a pack of condoms in a small disposable bag. He always wanted to know the story behind it. Well, if we had to invent the story, it would go a little something like this. You know what I'm talking about? At one point, I was thinking about getting married, and then I got some good-ass pussy. Pussy was so good, I was like, God damn, I ain't gonna need this condom no more. Might as well take this engagement ring off. So he put it in a bag, and that was that. You know what I'm talking about? You think somebody else made somebody said she said no, he did not get laid. Oh, no, I like to think that... Oh, man. Well, it just says pack of condoms, not like used condoms. Yeah, so the real story's less Gael than I'd like it to be. As we proceed, we're coming down to the 10. Wildest things found in the garbage. Number 10. A friend of mine worked for a garbage collecting place, I guess, and later at a sorting facility. He made a very decent business selling all sorts of electronics and appliances people would leave at the free drop-off point. Now that's what I'm talking about. He had hundreds of old computers, Commodores, Amigas, old Macs, and gaming consoles, pre-PlayStation and Xbox. You know what I'm talking about? He'd switch around the dead parts, if any, resolder components, clean everything in some alcohol solution. Where you dip in the whole chipboard. Wow. He even used some sort of chemical that would de-age the plastic. We know how old plastic goes all yellow. He would wipe the solution on it, left it for a day or so, and it would be just like new. So that's pretty cool. This guy knows what's up. A response to his response says, this is kind of unrelated, but your story reminded me of this one. Back when VCRs were still a big thing, my grandfather's friend got books from the library on how to fix VCRs and started his own small business doing it. Yeah, I know this guy named Mike and this other guy named Jay that have been trying to fix this one guy's VCR for a while. They even apparently have a shop, but they're milking this old faggot for money. And it's weird because the old guy's name is Plinkett, but he looks and sounds different from another Plinkett I know. It's ridiculous sometimes. It's ridiculous. Anyway, because he'd fixed them, he also had a lot lying around. So when people would come in with a broken one, he would often buy it from them for cheap and sell them a working one, and then he could fix the broken one later. You wouldn't believe how often he would plug the VCRs in and they would work fine. It seemed like people forgot the easiest troubleshoot. What, is it plugged in? Are you fucking kidding me? You know how many money people making off people too stupid to check if shit's plugged in? That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And may ignorance keep them dollar bills in the eyes of all of our hearts and minds. You know? Jeez. Number nine. Found a massive collection of porn and sex toys. We took all the porn and split it amongst about 15 of us. During the summer, a lot of residents would come out and give us beer or Coke. Okay. One day, an old Greek man came up and offered us a big, maybe 20-gallon drum of pitted olives. Interesting. Someone asks, "What did you do with the sex toys?" Another person responds, and by another person I mean the original person who made this comment. He says, "Haha, the sex toys went in the back of the truck and ended up in a landfill." Somebody else says, "Landfill is his buddy's nickname." And the response to that has been deleted, but it has me curious. More curious than I've been for this entire list. But I suppose we'll never know. Number 8. This has been gilded. It ought to be good. I got a job sorting recycling in the back of a rubbish van one summer when I was a student at university. We did different routes in the area each day so that each house had its recycling picked up once a week. Every week without fail, this old man's recycling box would be full to the brim with transsexual porn. Jesus, bing bong Christ. So full, it would require 2 of us to pick it up and load it. I have no problem with porn itself, whatever floats your boat, but the sheer volume of it was jaw-dropping. It's dropping my jaw right now. I can't handle it. Why does that have to be transsexual porn? I'm going to have trouble getting through this just thinking about it. The guy must have been either some sort of filthy Rupert Murdocher at the helm of a trans porn empire, or literally spending €100 a week on these magazines. The funniest part was that our truck driver was the most homophobic man I've ever met. He once leaned out of the truck window and called some guy a fag because he was wearing a nice pair of boots. You know them boots is nice when he's like, "You know what? You a faggot." The type of guy who hates gays so much that there is no question in my mind that he was a repressed closet dweller himself. Oh yeah. Anyway, we'd always steal a couple of the magazines and plant them in all of his stuff, because he never had to sort any of the trash himself. He had no idea it was us who was doing it. So we would always he would always tell us about it, thinking we were on his side. And then we'd all respond like, "Who the hell would do something like that?" One time we tore out a picture of a trans lady with a particularly massive girthy boner and stuck it around his debit card in his wallet. He came to work fuming the next day and told us that he'd been out to a nice meal with his fiancée and some of his friends, and when he went to pay, the picture popped out of his wallet in front of her and the waiter and his friend. He was close to having a nervous breakdown by the time I left. Every day was like dick roulette for him. Never knowing where the next trans willy was coming from. We love willies. Another horrible experience was when someone stuck their dead cat in the food waste bin. Oh boy. Too long didn't read. Old man threw away a bin's worth of transsexual porn every week. You gotta wonder where it's all coming from, man. And then does he just look at it once and go, "I'm done with this now"? We made our homophobic truck driver's life a living hell by planting trans porn in all of his stuff. Somebody responds, "It could be that it was his job to proofread the porn. A barrister colleague of my father's was employed by a porn publisher in the UK to proofread all of their publications to ensure that they did not breach obscenity laws. Given the recent legislation in the UK regarding porn, this is almost certainly still a thing. The contract paid the gentleman in question so well that he kept it up into his 80s. He kept it up, guys. He kept it up. Waka waka. Ugh. Proofreading porn, guys. You know, on some kind of like FCC tip. Is this offensive? No, it's fine. It's fine. Take this out to the trash, darling. Stop reading those trans magazines, you pervert. Honey, it is my job, and I take pride in my job. Of course I don't love it. Of course I don't like this. It's disgusting, okay? Now let me have the room. Number 7. My good friend who used to work at a recycling plant found an Enigma machine. That's an encryptment device that the Nazis used. It was worth like $10,000. Edit, he still has it. And both wooden boxes too. I won't facilitate a sale. And that $10 joke is killer, dudes. Oh, because he wrote a dot after the $10 instead of a comma. I'm thinking it is worth $10,000. But the fact that like he wrote the dot makes it hilarious. So everybody in the comments is like, worth $10. Doesn't seem that big a deal. Anyway, somebody's like, that's how Bletchley Park actually found theirs and broke the encryption back in 43. Gehrig's mom was cleaning his room, thought it was a broken typewriter, and threw it in the garbage. Boy, was he mad. Aw, shucks, ma, hands in pockets, kicks the ground. That was my secret squirrel Enigma machine. Oh, brother, the Fuhrer sure's gonna be sore at me. Oh my God. Look, man. Number 6. This was in the early 90s. I was emptying the public trash cans in the city in mid-England. I saw this really expensive bound leather photograph holder book. I took it, lobbed it in the cab to check it out later. After work, I started looking through it, and it started with the fresh-faced young soldiers laughing and gurning at the camera. Gurning, huh? Let's look up that word and see if it's real. Gurn, to make a grotesque face. And that's our word of the day. It started with these fresh-faced young soldiers laughing and gurning at the camera. They were doing their training, I think, in some leafy camp in England. Then it switched to a fuckhole. Awful desert. It was the time of Gulf War I. The smiles went, and then the carnage came. Busted tanks, cars, and people. Fires, death, and destruction. Almost unrecognizable burnt corpses. Just horrible, horrible shit. Then I stopped looking and threw it away as the owner had intended. I often wonder who threw that away. I hope it was the soldier trying to forget rather than one of his grieving relatives. That was more than 20 years ago, but I think of that poor boy a lot. I wish it wasn't thrown away. And I know that it may have been filmed by somebody and they own that thing, I guess, to throw it away. But if you're not properly destroying your things and you release it to the world and somebody gets it, suck your ass. You know what I mean? If you wanted it gone, you'd have taken the means to destroy that shit necessary. I'm sure the CIA and the NSA have a very similar outlook to all of the information that they're collecting. But I don't know. When it comes to war, I don't like the idea that something should be buried or destroyed, because it's like erasing something that cost lives. You know what I mean? And even if it's bad, I mean, the reminder is more important. But what do I know? Anyway. Eeny, meeny, miny. Number 5. This is in the 90s. My friend's dad was a big sack full of arcade tokens. Not sure how it is now, but back then the tokens were mostly standardized. My friend was in heaven. I've heard a story like this so many times, dude. You know what I'm talking about? Number 4, though. I did junk removal for a while, and we used to clean out estates of people who died. You can find some nice records or old furniture that would end up worth lots of money. One day, after a 3rd week straight of cleaning out estates of the deceased, my coworker and I stood in this old woman's living room and kind of just stopped. We realized the value of someone after they passed, or rather, the lack thereof. Here we are throwing out photo albums, books, journals, note cards, all things that were once valuable to somebody, but now they're just being chucked into the garbage without any thought. All those things that a person has spent their lifetime accumulating ended up meaning nothing. Often, the children come and sort some stuff out, but most of the time it's just get rid of everything. It made me realize that accumulating material goods is really a futile way of living. They can't take it to the grave most of the time, and it just ends up in a landfill. Jabronis like us would try to make a buck out of the candlesticks that you so adored and thought your children would definitely take. It's morbid to think that we are just literally throwing away our life and throwing away someone's life and memory. I don't know, just something to think about. Collect experiences, and those cannot be taken away by anyone. If the choice is between that nice watch and a weekend trip to Mexico, probably choose the latter. I think this is something that we've all thought about, or most of the people listening to this list, because we're not basic as fuck. And naturally, we know if we were to die right now, everything's getting sorted into 2 categories. Things that are worth something, and things that we're throwing away. I think a great way to look at some of the shit that you have is like, if a burglar were to come, what would they take? Do you get what I'm saying? And usually, it's your electronics, baby. Number 3, my father-in-law is a bin man here in Northern Ireland. You know where they call the garbage men bin men? It's a hell of a, it's a serious, crazy ass job. If there are any garbage men listening to this, I'm not like belittling your area, your profession here, because you're not a bin man, but I just know that the areas are particularly rough in most places where people are bin men. Scary stuff. So Northern Ireland. He is forever bringing home stuff he finds on his rounds. Most recently, a Tag Heuer watch. I'm guessing that's an expensive watch. And more iPhones than you could shake a stick at. Guy even has a huge jar filled with coins he finds. All the guys he works with dump any loose change or notes they come across into it throughout the year, and they split it between them at Christmas. It's like a Christmas bonus. Somebody says upvote for Northern Ireland bin men are like Batman. I never see them, but they're cleaning up my city. Come on now, guys. Come on, it's like the heroes that we deserve, though, with the bing bong. Number 2, I'm not a bin man. What's this, a bin man thing now instead of garbage man? What the hell? I'm not a bin man, but I work on a landfill site, which is where all of the rubbish ends up, so I get to see my fair share more than the average bin man. I'll start with some illegal things we found. Police in the local area had busted a huge cannabis grow house and brought all the equipment for growing to our site. We're talking about thousands of pounds. Wait, euros, not pounds? Okay, wait, no, money, not the increment of measuring weight. Lighting timers, ventilation systems, hydroponics, the full Monty. We're not allowed to take things home from the site. Unrelated bit of information. A friend of mine is growing cannabis now. Another illegal thing we found, which was also pretty fucking strange, was a huge stash of porn magazines, chains, dildos, whips, all kinds of sex toys. And amongst them were hundreds of loose Polaroid photos, which we had a brief look at before promptly closing the site and calling the police. Boy and a girl couldn't even be older than 7 or 8. We recognized the other items in the photographs. That was the second worst thing I have found on the site. You know, we came so close to getting out of this list without kid rape. But I guess that's what makes it a list, huh? Kid rape. Jesus. Strange things. We really do get all sorts. One thing that comes to mind are the collection of fetish wear. You know, thigh-high latex boots, corsets, that kind of thing, which one of our staff members casually remarked were all the right size for his wife. We're not allowed to take things home from the site. Unrelated bit of information, a friend of mine's wife has some new clothes. As for valuables, one staff member found a set of jewelry, which was quite good quality gold, and managed to sell that for a fair few bob. What an interesting way of talking about money. The Apple shop in the nearest city had received a faulty batch of iPod Nanos when they were first released, so they got brought here. As far as we could tell, the only problem with them was that the plastic cases were misformed and didn't fit together too well. They worked fine. We're not allowed to take things home from the site. Unrelated bit of information, a fair few of my friends like to listen to music. Oh, bing bong. Hands down, the worst thing we've ever come across on the site was a miscarriage. The plant driver luckily saw it before he ran over everything in the machine, but fuck, that was horrific. Someone had just thrown it away in the bin. That was another whole police thing too. Anyway, we're not allowed to take things home from the office site. Unrelated bit of information. Gross. Oh my god. Number 1, guys, on the list of 22 wildest things found in the garbage. Bing bong. Finally, my time to shine. Someone's proud. I worked as a sort of secondary garbage man. I was on the truck when they needed an extra hand or the main guy was sick. From the short time, I have a list of things I have found, and some of the more valuable things the other guys acquired. Mind you, this is from a small Canadian town. A working PS3, a working iPhone 4. This was before the 5 was introduced. 2 laptop computers, monitors were broken, and nothing else. Multiple desktop PCs, an FM transmitter, every tool you would ever need, an N64 with a few games, 5 bottles of unopened hard liquor, all sorts of hunting equipment and furniture, lots of good furniture, and I ended up refurbishing them and selling them. A lot of what I found was technology, simply because I had an eye for it. The main garbage man, oh, sorry, oh man, my nose is itchy, am I gonna sneeze? I'll be okay. I'll be okay. The main garbage man had a room in his house dedicated to the things that he found, from $400 snowboards to full toolboxes and audio systems, and the truck driver made about an extra $500 every 2 months from recycling cans people would throw out. I also stumbled across a $100 bill once at a landfill. Somebody said, fuck man, that sounds awesome. Gotta wonder why some people throw shit away. I think the thing you gotta look at most is that half the time when people throw shit away, it's not their shit, you know? Some people throw other people's shit away. And what does that mean? You know, you drink a lot. You got some nice alcohol. And maybe your wife or your mom or your kids, they don't like your habit. So they're gonna get rid of your booze the only way they know how, by just taking the bottle and putting it out into the fucking bin. You know what I'm talking about? Think about a wife that doesn't like your habit as far as like certain books you read or certain, you know, devices that you have. You spend all of your time with those DVD and monitors. I'm gonna get rid of them, baby, and then we'll see what's going on. Think about every mom that's clearing out some shit that she doesn't understand for like a yard sale or something, you know, giving away shit she don't even understand. Half of that shit probably more valuable than anything in the house. Valuable when it comes to, you know, like monetary value. Like I said, if somebody dies right now, you sort it into two piles. Shit that a burglar would steal, shit that is irrelevant. Maybe it has sentimental value, but monetary value? Nah. Nah. All of this is things, and it could just catch fire when people are done because nobody else wants it. You know what I mean? So maybe it is pretty cool to be a garbage man. But when it comes to stuff that's being thrown out, that's like, you know, usually there's like deals. I'm talking about like food that's like well inside its expiration. But usually like there'll be deals with places that are like shelters or something, or maybe like a church is trying to give away stuff. Church is doing that to save face. You know what I'm talking about? Still got them priests touching the young boys. Can't believe number 2 had kid rape. Don't know how to feel about that, guys. Came so close. It was supposed to be a happy-go-lucky garbage list. Oh boy. Today is Hannah's birthday, so happy birthday to Hannah. Special. Wonderful. Hannah. Developers considered having players on. Somebody said, no. During the production of GoldenEye 007, the developers considered having players unplug and reinsert the rumble pack every time they wanted to reload. Somebody said the most amazing thing about this game is that multiplayer, the thing that all of us remember because it was so great, was thrown together in a couple of days by a single developer as an afterthought. I didn't know that, and that's 10,000 times more interesting than this monkey ball up here. You guys having a good day? Everything fine? Maybe we'll it's already like 10 o'clock. I love you guys to death, but streaming now would just be crazy. There's your word of the day, G-U-R-N, Gurn, to make a grotesque face. Happy birthday, Hannah. Everybody else have a fantastic evening. Should have done a Hannah stream. A Hannah birthday stream. Fuck. What have I done? Well, guys, I'll catch you soon. Love ya.